Hey, recording in progress. How you doing it? Let me take these stupid things off. I'm your pal, Izzy Presley. Good day. It is Tuesday, the 27th of June. And I'm good. I hope you're good. Starting this show off a little weird, but as always, crack one for the working man. Crack one for the working man. God damn it. Izzy, why are you not live? We'll get to that. Izzy, why are you starting the show off like this? We'll get to that. Basically, this is a best of. Other than this part right here, I'm wearing my failure shirt. Vikings, of course. So what is going on? Well, I've been extremely busy. And the last show that we did was the Horny Mike episode. Go back and listen to that and then bid on his 2016 Challenger, which I am actually not bid, get a raffle ticket. They're $20 for one, 50 for three, or 20 for 100, or 10 for 100, or so. I don't know, something like that. The website's all in the other episode, so go listen to it. A lot of fun, a lot of good times in that episode. I was laughing my balls off. Horny Mike is one funny son bitch. So here is what is going on. We are giving you a best of an old episode that I had a lot of fun doing. This came from 2014, 2015, maybe. I suppose I can tell you right now. I suppose I can just look at it, producing on the fly. Oh, let's see. This was from, of course, it doesn't say. 7 years ago. That's all I know. Math, 7 to 2016. I don't know. Whatever. I was in LA. I was at the original place, the old Hurt Locker, and I was supposed to have Steve Brown on the show, and Steve had to cancel. So we had PJ Farley from Trixter talking about their new album at the time, Human Era. And then Pat Fontaine from XYZ came in studio and told some amazing rock and roll stories. And this show is a very, very, very good episode. And I wanted to bring it to you. There is no video because I was not doing video at the time. I am what you would call behind the 8 ball. Or is it in front of the 8 ball? I don't know. Whatever. Didn't start doing video for a while, and it wasn't live. So there's no listener feedback. And you will notice that it's the original intro. So there's none of that fun stuff in there. No crazy sick fuckers, no party time. This was all before that. This was pretty early on. This was when people cared. I jokingly named this show another fucking podcast because, everybody's got a podcast. Everybody now does have a podcast. It's very hard now, but it's still fun. That's all that matters. And competition is just insane. A lot of newcomers, a lot of people come and they go and then they're gone. But a lot of people stick with it, like I have. Coming up on the 10th anniversary of this show, November 4th. So I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be fucking special, but I was listening to a little bit of the intro and the beginning of it and could tell I still had my radio chops. I was still kind of in radio guy mode. Very, very different, but still good. I had a lot of fun with it. Still do, always do. And thank you for all you guys that bear with us every week and have a good time, because that's what it's all about. It's all about fun. Last Saturday, the 17th, man, vamped, Children of the Grave. It was awesome. Had a great time. Thank you to everybody that came out. Thank you to Freaky and Keith and Mike Campion and Faith and Joaquin for playing and having a great time, and Corey and everybody at Vamped. And thank you so much. You will hear the original commercial. I left everything in. I didn't change anything. I didn't edit anything out. Then you will also notice that this is where we got the famous that drop. It is Pat Fontaine's laugh. You will hear it multiple times during this show, and that's where that came from. Los Angeles, August 19th, the Smokin' Kills. Mike Dawson and the Smokin' Kills. I will be there playing with the Smokin' Kills because I am in the Smokin' Kills. I think we all know that by now, We are playing at the world famous Roxy Theater on the Sunset Strip, right next door to the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And it is going to be a good time. We are opening up for a band called Seven Horse, which is one of the guys from Dada. And there will be a Dada reunion. This has been confirmed. This is going to happen. So tickets are only $25. Do not walk to your ticket office and get there. It is going to be a blast. We're going to have a good old time. It's true. It's damn true. Oh, hold on. Take a sip of beer. Also, if you guys like the show, this is very important. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the Spreaker page. It's very important. Spreaker.com/user/Izzy Presley. And then you will get notified every time the show is either posted or goes live. You will also get notified when all my other shows get posted or go live. Like my brand new podcast, which I started out calling the Vegas Players Podcast. Now I am going to change it to the Vegas Entertainers Club. Whatever, it's got a ring to it. Next week, because it is a holiday, there will be no show, and I will be posting a very special edition of another one of the shows that I do with my good friend, my best friend in the world, Mike Dawson from the Adam Carolla Show, and Mike Dawson and the Smoking Kills. I was dog sitting for him a couple weeks ago, and we recorded another Casey Kasem's Classic Countdown, or whatever the fuck we call it. And we had Andre Como from season 1 of The Real World sitting in with us. Yes, the rock and roll guy. He's been on the show. You all know him. You love him. Great guy. Had a blast doing that, and finally going to get that up. And that will be the show for next Tuesday. And that will be, no, I can't post it here. I have to post it on the other one because all the music's in there. Can't post that shit on YouTube and iTunes and all that shit. So that will just stay under that one. Also, I am rebooting. Sorry, pardon me while I rub my eye. Very professional of me. I am rebooting the Under the Cover show, and that will be done live periodically, maybe twice a month. Once I get my shit together and get rolling again. So that's going to be fun, and we can do it live, and we can take requests live on the air, all that stuff, and that will be on this page as well. So the Spreaker.com/user/Izzy Presley. If you guys want to donate, hey man, I'm always up for money. PayPal, izzypresley@yahoo.com. You all know that. Real Izzy Presley on the Venmo, and of course, Cash App is $Izzy Presley. So without further ado, here it is. From 7 years ago, it would have been, hold on, I can give the exact date. So let me look at this text, because I sent this to PJ Friday the 16th. So June 16th, 7 years ago. This is 2023. Yeah, doing the math, it would be 2016, I guess. 2016? I thought it was earlier than that. 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 2016. This is PJ Farley from Trixter and Pat Fontaine from XYZ. Please enjoy, because this is a good one. See you next week with Dawson and myself and Andre Como. And yes, the Casey's Classics Countdown show. Yeah.
You're invited to a hot summer night with Seven Horse. Seven Horse, live at the Roxy in West Hollywood, Saturday, August 19th. Seven Horse, with special guest Mike Dawson and the Smokin' Kills.
Just another Southern California.
Tickets on sale now at 7horsemusic.com.
Had an old shoebox lid filled with stems and seeds. Just the kind of thing that a growing boy needs.
7 Horse. Mike Dawson and the Smokin' Kills. Saturday, August 19th at the Roxy. Find the link to tickets at adamcarolla.com.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
Hello, Hollywood, hello, world, and hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and as always, good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and this show is called Another Fucking Podcast. Another big show for you this week. Steve Brown from Trixter was supposed to be on, had to get him rescheduled, but joining me from Trixter will be the bass player of Trixter, Mr. PJ Farley. Be joining me via the phone line. And then, right after that, in studio from XYZ and part of the Monsters of Rock family, Mr. Pat Fontaine, the crazy fucking Frenchman himself. 2 bass players on this show. We'll get to the bottom of this, figure out if they actually learned how to play the bass because they could not figure out how to run the lights. You know, bass players. 2 bass players on one show? Oh, it's almost as bad as a bass player and a drummer. Kidding. That was a great episode. Fucking Junkyard episode. Thank you, everybody. Everybody that listened to that show. It was a very cool show. World premiered their brand new song. Great, fun interview. And that's a great feedback from that show. Last week, Lorraine Lewis. A lot of great feedback from that show, too. So, hey, listen, you're listening via iTunes, you're listening via Spreaker. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get this show each and every week. Right when it comes out. Oh, hey, Izzy's show is up. I better listen. There you go. That's all you got to do. You can hear this show via Brian Kuntz, his website. He posts this every week. Thank you very much for that. Can also hear this show via Stuff Dudes Like. That's stuffdudeslike.com. Great website, and it is exactly what it says it is. It's stuff that dudes like. It's chicks, it's video games, it's sports, it's podcasts. Lots of great podcasts on that website. My fantasy football guy, the great Babu, contributor to that website. He has a great new article up. Make sure you go check that out. Mr. Jeff Bauer. Mike Bichetti, comedian, was on this show. He contributes to that website. Very cool website. Stuff dudes like. And speaking of stuff that dudes like, guys like fire. Guys like music. Well, these boys in Wisconsin called Odd Mechanical, they make this stuff. They're like pieces of art that shoot fire to music. Pieces of art that shoot fire to music. My piece is supposed to be coming. It should have been here by now. But, you know, they're in Wisconsin. They probably got drunk and forgot about it. But I cannot wait to see what they come up with for me. And don't worry. I joke about, it's going to burn the fucking house down. No, this shit is safe. They wouldn't be able to sell this stuff to you if it was not safe. This is safe. It's not going to burn your fucking house down if you're not an idiot with it. You don't put it by the drapes. No, you put it where it's not going to catch something on fire. This is fire we're talking about. But yeah, it bounces fire to music that you want to hear. So it's like you got a little mini Kiss cons. You could put on Kiss Alive 1 and watch it shoot fire to Kiss Alive 1. Fire! Odd Mechanical. Check them out on Facebook, check them out on Twitter, and check them out on YouTube so you can actually see what they do. And then get a customized piece of art that shoots fire to music for your own very home, or your man cave, or your garage, or your
if you're in the frozen tundra, for your fish house. You got to entertain yourself somehow while you're sitting on a frozen lake drinking beer. Because that's what ice fishing is. We all know it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just don't need a frozen lake to drink beer. That's why I got out of Minnesota. So Odd Mechanical, make sure you check those guys out. Follow the show via the Facebook page, facebook.com/another effing podcast. Follow me on the Twitter machine, Izzy_Presley. And then also you can email me, Izzy at izzypresleyproductions.com. Hey, if you are an aspiring writer, want to write press releases, you like rock music, you like writing about stuff, drop me an email. I'm looking for somebody to write press releases for me. I can do it myself, but quite frankly, I'm a busy guy, and when I can have somebody write it for me, that'd be even better. And yeah, I'll pay you a little bit too. So I'm not a fucking cheapskate either, to a point. But drop me an email, Izzy at izzypresleyproductions.com. If you're interested in that, hit me up on Twitter or the Facebook page. So there you go. Got a couple big things before we get PJ Farley on. I'm not going to, the Trump speech, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but dude sold me. If he actually runs, obviously, by the time you're hearing this show, you should know that Donald Trump is running for president. And if you have not watched his speech, this is your homework. This is very, very important. This isn't just, oh yeah, go check out this new record. No, this is your homework. Sit down and watch the entire Trump speech. It's funny, I put the speech up on my Facebook page. I watched it twice. I took 2 hours out of my day. 2 very important hours because of this. This is very, very important. This is our country we're talking about. A lot of people, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote. It doesn't fucking matter anyways. Well, if Donald Trump ends up being one of the final candidates, get your ass out and vote. Everyone's, he's just a pompous douche. Yeah, he is. But you got to remember this. The Donald Trump that we know, the Donald Trump that we see, is the TV character. We don't know the businessman. We don't know the negotiator. We don't know what he's like behind closed doors. We got a taste of it with that speech. We got a taste of what he wants to do for this country. You need to go ahead and watch that. I put it up. There's fights and blah. This is why I never post political shit. But god damn it, most of the people that were commenting the negative stuff, he's a pompous douche, they didn't watch the speech. They didn't watch what he has planned for this country. He called people out. He said, this is not right. This is, you fucked up, you fucked up, you fucked up. This is how we need to change it. This is what I'm not going to do. That's what he was doing during his speech. And then he went on to say what he's going to do for this country when he becomes president. And I tell you what, yeah, he's brash, he's bold, he's arrogant. I love it. I fucking love it. That's the kind of guy we need running this fucking country. Watch the speech. Watch the speech. And you'll get it. You will get it. Other big news. Dave Grohl. I'm going to get into this a little bit with Pat and, of course, with PJ. Dave Grohl. Big news over the weekend. Falls off stage. Breaks his leg. Now, I'm going to put this in NBA terms for you. This kind of injury, I'd probably keep an NBA player out for 3 seasons. 3.5, maybe 4. No, not Dave Grohl. This is like totally hockey player. This is totally ECW. Breaks his leg. Falls off stage. Breaks his leg. Goes backstage for a minute. They were going to postpone the show. He's going to go to the hospital and come back and vanish. No. He came back on the stage. Pardon me. Comes back on the stage. I know you all know about this. But if not, I'm breaking news. Oh. In a chair with a paramedic. The paramedic is setting his leg, wrapping his leg, and he's finishing his fucking concert. That's hardcore. And, of course, Imholt, just for you. He's hardcore! He's hardcore! That is insane. That is awesome. Yes, they had to cancel some other dates, which is to be expected. But to finish a show after falling off stage and breaking your leg, that's testicular fortitude, my friends. That shows you what kind of guy Dave Grohl is. He's not in it for himself. He's in it for the fans. He finished the show, then went to the hospital and got a cast put on. Yeah, it's unfortunate. They did have to cancel the remaining European dates. But hey, man, props to him. Props to him. We're going to get into that with PJ and with Pat. Coming up in the upcoming weeks, Jacob from the Adler Band, Steven Adler's band, is going to be in studio here in July. Waiting on confirmation for next week. He just got done playing in Brazil. Hopefully he's available next Tuesday. He's one of the Winery Dogs. Amazing guitar player. Amazing songwriter, amazing singer. We'll see. I'm not confirming it. I'm not saying for sure he's going to be here, but he wants to do the show, and hopefully that will happen in the next week, maybe in the next couple weeks. Also coming up, hopefully in July, George Lynch, working on that as we speak. Maybe Matt Starr from the Ace Frehley band, formerly the Ace Frehley, played on this latest record. Plays with Mr. Big. Super nice guy. He's a drummer for the Ultimate Jam, which I'm going to tonight, and hosting for 3 weeks in July right here in Hollywood. They take like 40 musicians and they cycle them in and out. Like tonight, for instance, Joey Belladonna is going to play. Doug Pinnick from the Immortal King's X is going to play. Neil Turbin's there almost every week, the original singer from Anthrax. I hosted it a few weeks back. Richie Kotzen, Billy Sheenan, Tracy Guns, Rudy Sarzo. This is the kind of talent they have at this jam. There's never a cover. Never a cover. It is at the Lucky Strike on Hollywood and Highland. So if you're in LA, any given Wednesday night, come on down and check that shit is out. I'll be going there tonight with Pat. We're going to go hang out. Cannot wait to host that some bitch again. It's going to be a blast. I'm going to take a very, very, very short break. 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then when we come back via the phone line, we'll be from Trixter talking about their brand new record, Human Era. PJ Farley, the bass player. And fun conversation. Can't wait for you to hear it. My name's Izzy Presley.
Hey ladies, Death Threads will take that rock shirt that everybody has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind, handmade rocker tube top dresses, lace-up tees, and tank tops already in stock. Check out the online store at etsy.com/shop/DeathThreadsInc and like Death Threads on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's etsy.com/shop/DeathThreadsInc. Death Threads will make you the envy of the party.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com. All right, and we have returned, and joining me on the phone right now from Trixter, the bass player, Mr. PJ Farley, man. Good to talk to you. Welcome to another fucking podcast.
Thank you, man. Good to be in.
Hey, before we get into anything, I've been this whole Dave Grohl story it's just exciting to me. Falls off the stage, breaks his leg, and gets back and starts playing. What's the worst injury that you've ever played with?
Actually, at the Universal Amphitheater in LA, on tour with Warrant, I was pulling a multi-dick rock star move, and so I smashed my bass on stage. And as I was coming up with it, the body disconnected from the neck and landed on my head.
Uh-oh.
And I was just so pumped up anyway. I didn't even notice. And I had like jeans on with like holes in them and stuff like that. And I felt my head. I was sweating and shit. And I, running my fingers through my hair and scratching my head, and I wipe out my leg, and I see girls in the front row pointing my leg, going, "You're bleeding." I'm like, "Huh?" And I look, my leg is bloody, my hair is bloody, my hand's bloody. I'm like, "Okay." So we finished the show, and there's a nurse over there, comes to our dressing room. She's like, "You need stitches." So off to Cedars-Sinai I go. And went there, got, I think, 6 stitches. Came back in time to make the jam that we always used to do at the end of the night, Fight for Your Right to Party.
Nice.
So I got a little Grohl in me, I think.
Right,
broken leg, but I did take 6 stitches to the noggin.
Right. Well, I mean, that's still pretty hardcore too. That's like wrestling style, going out with that crimson mask, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. No broken appendages though.
Nope. Not me, at least. He
Right.
had a couple, but not me.
Right. So you guys are back, man. I mean, well, obviously you guys have been back for a couple years, but brand new second record since you guys have been back, Human Era, which is out now. When you guys came back together, I mean, first of all, did you guys ever think you would get back together at some point?
I don't know. We didn't really think about it. I mean, we'd been asked to a number of times, and we just never did. We're all too involved in other things.
Mm-hmm.
And, then Steve got the idea to do it, and, was talking about it for a while, and, the rest of the guys were into it. I was a little hesitant at first to do it, just because I wanted to, I don't know, I was protective of what we did and what we were, and I've seen so many bands come back and really destroy it, and phone it in and not be genuine about it. And I wasn't interested in doing anything like that. It wasn't worth it to put it back together just because we can get some good paying shows and kind of ruin, the initial impact that we had. And, then I started warming up to it. My main reason for being hesitant was because I just wanted to make sure that we can come back and do it properly, like just really mean it and just really be the same 4 knuckleheads on stage and off. And, finally I just came to terms with let's just give it a shot. We did Rocklahoma, and once we all got in the dressing room, I'm like, all right, that was silly. We were clearly the same 4 knuckleheads. Right. And on stage we got on and we just had a pisser, and we, picked up where we left off, and, I had reservations just because age and whatnot, we were, like a 3-ring circus up there on stage back in the day. And, I didn't want to be a couple of old farts up there just, not giving them what we used to. And, I'm confident that we do.
Right. Yeah, you're not up there going through the motions. You guys are just, you're doing what you do and you're having fun. When you guys,
on and off stage.
Yeah, exactly. And we've partied after your shows before, and it's exactly what you guys are like, man. You guys are, you're having fun. That's what it's about. Did you think you would record again? Or did you just think, all right, fuck, we'll go play some gigs, have some fun, and then all of a sudden, bam.
That was the initial plan, yeah. It was just at first, it was just like, let's just do a couple shows.
Right.
A very few, less than a handful. See how it feels. And, then it was like, all right, feels good. Okay, let's do some more. And then like 2 years into it, we were just like confident. We're like, all right, man, well, we're definitely back. We weren't really pursuing a record. And then Frontiers came to us and kind of laid one in our lap. And we're like, all right, well, it's perfect timing. We're confident that, we are the band that, we feel we should be. And so now that we have a label wanting to put a record out for us, so let's give them one. And it turned out amazing.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting on that for a while. We did 2 years of shows on that, and then last year they came to us again. You want to do another one? We're like, all right. It wasn't on our radar, you know. We weren't against it, but we weren't exactly, you know, going, all right, let's get in the studio. So they came to us and put it in our heads again, and out came another one. And ironically, I think we all think it's the best thing we've done yet.
Yeah, it is very good. I mean, you got your party songs on there, and they just, I mean, which is what you guys are, you know, and that's what I love. You guys own it. It's like, yeah, we're a fucking party band. Deal with it. And I've noticed you guys, like, you haven't really tried to change with the times. You really stay true to what and who you are. Yeah,
well, I mean, and that wasn't a conscious choice. I mean, it's just that's where we come from, you know. And there's no carrot dangling in front of us, like, or a label. You know, our label isn't saying, hey, look, if this isn't going to get on, you know, if this isn't going to be a breaker at AOR, then you know, it's over.
Right.
You know, there's no pressure in the sense of, you know, we're not fooling ourselves, going, hey man, I know we look good and we're still young enough, we write the right song, man, to change our lives forever.
Right.
You know, not doing that.
Right.
Not at all. We're just going to make a great record the best we can with no pressure, no preconceived notions, and write the way we write.
And the thing I love about, you know, this record, Human Era, and the first one when you guys came back, it's like you guys really, you kind of still, I mean, after what, God, it was what, 2000, or I'm sorry, was it 94 when Here came out, or was it earlier than that?
It was 92.
92, yeah, and it's like you guys, this is just kind of following up on that, you know, is sticking with the same formula, and I dig it.
Yeah.
What do you remember about? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that it's you know, it's the same band. It's just, you know, got a lot more years of experience and growth underneath. So I think that's what's the main element in these records.
What do you remember about the Kiss tour?
Well, for one, just being out of my mind excited the fact that we were touring with Kiss. You know, it wasn't the Love Gun tour,
right?
But it was still an honor and a dream come true to be out there with them every night. And I remember kind of seeing the beginning of the end.
Okay.
Towards the end of that tour, I was like, okay, you know, starting to see the writing on the wall here. Let's enjoy it, fellas. Right.
Are you just talking industry-wise?
What's that?
You mean like industry-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
The tides are changing all throughout that tour. I remember every day we're in our dressing room and talking to our manager, like, all right, how many heads did we get this week? Like, yeah, not as many as we expected. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Was that a tough era for you to handle? I mean, because you guys were just kind of popping. When that whole grunge thing came out, it's like all of a sudden, you know, you guys are all over MTV. The very first MTV band to wear flannel, by the way. A lot of people don't know that.
Indeed.
But
I came up with the analogy that we gave Seattle their flannels and they hung us with it.
Oh, dude, that's fucking classic. But was it hard for you guys to deal with that? It's like I said, you guys were just starting to pop, and then all of a sudden, this whole new movement comes in and kind of flushes out everything that came before it.
Yeah, well, it fucking sucked, man. We were having a good time.
Right.
You know? And, you know, I mean, luckily, we're all four pretty level-headed guys who always made fun of ourselves and anyone else who took themselves too seriously or thought they were going to be around forever on top of the world.
Right.
You know, so we always had that in the back of our mind. Luckily, we would have liked to milk it a little bit longer, get a little bit more out of it, considering we thought we made a fucking great record with Here.
Yeah,
and
you
didn't
did.
really get to see the light of day, so we were really, and we spent a lot of money on it, and we were, you know, bummed about that. You know, and yeah, bummed to have it all come to an end, but, you know, everything happens for a reason, and I think we all felt that.
Right. Well, you know, and it just sucked. I mean, as a fan for that time too, is like, you know, when that whole grunge thing came in, it's like, oh, what? This isn't the happy rock and roll that I know and love. But
it's like, can't we all get along?
Right. Exactly. It's like, I don't want to hear about how bad my life sucks. You know, I know my life sucks. Don't tell me about it.
Right.
I guess
don't get up there dressed like me. Don't get up there dressed like me and then fucking change everything.
Right? Yeah. Don't go up there and dress like me and stare at your shoes. That's not right.
Fuck. It's a dishonor to the flannel.
I guess the thing I was kind of going with the Kiss thing too, because that was the first time I had seen you guys live, and but I was in such Kiss mode where I didn't even want to see You Were Great White. I just want to see Kiss, but I didn't really get you guys until I saw you guys in a club.
Right.
I think that really showed more of what you guys were, especially because I wasn't there to see Kiss. You know what I mean? Do you guys think you go over better in those smaller, more intimate places?
I don't know. I mean, usually it's our show there, so we can pretty much fuck off and have a good time. And, it's not like no really union banging on our tapping their foot, and we don't got anyone's tour manager looking at their watch. We don't have a clock to look at, and on the stage. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, we don't get me wrong. We love playing 15, 17, 18,000 people, and doing all the moves we grew up practicing.
Right.
Pointing to the fucking ceiling and seeing people. That's great.
Yeah.
But there's absolutely something special about playing in a club, especially if it's packed. It's just we used to love our one-offs from the arena tours, even the ones that were doing amazing, because you just feel that energy so much. Even when there's 20,000 people in an arena, you feel it, the magnitude to a degree, but you feel 800 people stuffed in a club more.
Right. What the hell was I going to ask? I just forgot. I don't have anything planned. I just kind of roll with the flow with these things.
Cool.
I don't like, I don't like planned interviews. Those are no fun. But of course, they're better when you don't have anything to fucking talk about. You guys will be touring on this record, I'm assuming. I mean, that's what you guys do.
Yeah, we're doing our usual, festivals and, that whole circuit, the fly-in dates and stuff like that. Coming to LA on August 15th for the Cathouse Live.
Nice.
And, we'll be back in October with the Whiskey. So, we're definitely looking forward to those shows. And we got a ton more. We start in 2 weeks. And we go pretty much every other week.
All right.
Pretty much just the way the dates have been falling in.
All right. That's cool. Anything like cruise-wise coming up? A lot of these cruises are really popping right now.
I think we're in talks. We've been in talks with the Monsters of Rock, the last couple of years, I mean, we're open to it. It's got to make sense for us.
Right.
But we're definitely open to it. We'd love to be a part of it. So many people, we get so many requests from people to go on that and do that, and we would love to do it. Like I said, it's going to make sense for us. So, but I mean, we want to be there. I mean, more than anything, people ask us to get on that ship.
Yeah, dude, it's the Monster Cruise. I work it every year, and it's a big family. We would love to have you guys part of that family.
No, I know. Awesome. And look, I mean, the only thing that ship is missing is us four bozos.
Right.
No question about it.
Right. And you personally, you have you still doing your side stuff that you had going on too, or is it Trixter your main thing right now?
Trixter's my main thing right now. I'm always playing, playing whether I'm home locally doing, acoustic stuff or, whatever it takes. And, top 40 bands, someone's going to pay me to make, play music.
Right.
I'm there, so yeah.
I think
nationally, this is
because
my gig.
I think last time we chatted, it was up in Walker, Minnesota. I was thinking you guys in Winger. You were telling me about another original band that you had going at the time. And the name of it escapes me right now. I'm a drinker. I forget shit.
It depends on the year.
Right. I think it was. Was it
2012
maybe? 2012, 2013-ish.
2012. It could have been Raw, or I think 2012. Maybe I was playing with a band called Hours.
Okay.
A guy named Jimmy Necco. I think I was 2012. I think I was done with Lita.
Oh, you played with Lita?
Yeah, I played with Lita for like 3.5 years.
Oh, shit. I did not know that.
Yep.
Huh.
You betcha. From like 2009 to the top of 2012.
Okay. God, that's right. I do remember that now because you were with her when she played Halfway Jam. You and Gary Hoey, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm a drinker. I forget shit.
Yeah. I also did. We did Moondance also.
Oh yeah.
Bumblefoot was in the band with us too.
God, Bumblefoot, that dude's insane.
Yeah.
God, what a player.
I get to play with a lot of great guitar players.
Yeah, absolutely. And Steve is no slouch himself. You know, he really throws down too. So.
Right up there.
PJ Farley from Trixter, dude. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, look for these guys out on the road. The new record is it's called Human Era. There's a video now too, correct? Did you guys shoot a video for it?
Yeah, we shot a video for it. It's for the single "Rockin' to the Edge of the Night," and it's just an old school good time performance video, you know, and pretty much speaks for itself. Right. But it's fun.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. And people want to find you guys on find you or the band on social media. I think it was Trixter Rocks.
You go tricksterrocks.com. You know, and then from there you can spiral off all the social media you want. All
right, sounds good, dude. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been fun catching up,
dude.
And then we'll see you. We'll see you when you're out in LA, buddy.
All right, bud. Thanks, Izzy.
All right, there we go. PJ Farley from Trixter. Check out the new record, Human Era, available now. Also, coming up right after the break, it will be Pat Fontaine, XYZ, sitting here in studio. It's another fucking podcast. RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. Vid-decals.com.
There are one-of-a-kind, handmade rocker tube top dresses, lace-up tees, and tank tops all ready in stock. Check out the online store at etsy.com/shop/deadthreads Inc. And like Death Threads on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's etsy.com/shop/deadthreads Inc. Dead Threads will make you the envy of the party.
All right, and we have returned. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to another fucking podcast from XYZ and part of the Monsters of Rock family, Mr. Pat Fontaine.
What a pleasure to be here. I
What a-
love this place.
The fucking Frenchman has arrived.
Fucking A.
How the fuck are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing, bro?
Dude, I'm fucking great.
Excellent.
It's LA, man.
Yeah, this is great. The sky, the palm trees, the beach, the girls. Where else could we be, dude?
Apparently Vegas.
Yeah, maybe Vegas. Yeah.
You do fucking.
Hey, Vegas is more of a night thing. I kind of do a little bit of residency in Vegas. Half of my time in Vegas, half of my time here. But Vegas is great at night. But during the day, it's brutal, dude.
Right.
It's too much.
Hot as fuck.
Oh my God! Right now, it's 100 degrees every day.
Right.
For months on end.
Could be worse though.
Yeah.
Could be 70 below.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. And you know that drill.
I know all about the 70 fucking below, man. So yeah, I wanted to have you on. I want to hear your story. I want to hear the story of Pat Fontaine from XYZ.
Wow.
You moved to the States.
Yeah. I started the band in my. It's just like a cliche, really. I started the band in my grandmother's basement.
Really? In France.
In France.
Oh, so XYZ started in France.
Yeah, started in France in 1980. First year of the 80s, we started in the basement. I was the singer for a while, and then Terry Ilous came to the studio once, and he was like, "Do you mind if I do a song?" And he grabbed the mic, and he sounded so much better than I. Then I asked him to join, and then we did a couple of shows in France. got a tour with a girls' school. I don't know if you remember this band.
Back when Phil Lewis is in it, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Way back in the day.
So you and Phil go way back.
Yeah, we never really had a great relationship, but we do go way back. Way back. I was always commuting between London and Paris
right.
in the late 70s, really, early 80s, trying to get the band rolling. So I met kind of a bunch of people at the time. Of course, Def Leppard didn't exist, so it was Phil Lewis and
that's right,
and
Phil Collins.
That's right. It was pre-Def Leppard. It was awesome. And then at one point, I told Terry and the rest of my guys, I said, "Look, if we're gonna do this, let's do it the right way." And we kind of all knew it was all about Van Halen in Los Angeles.
Right.
We saw those videos, and my manager played us Running with the Devil, and we just sat there mesmerized. And then Eruption came on the vinyl, and we just stood there silent, thinking, wow, this we need to be there.
Right.
We need to get there. So after all the immigration push and pull thing, Terry and I said, okay, let's do this. Let's get on the plane. Let's make our way to Los Angeles and just give it a shot.
So it was just you and Terry that came over.
Yeah,
you
at
found
first
the rest of the band
everybody
here.
came, and
okay.
as you know, transplants either adapt or they don't.
Right.
The rest of my guys, the first drummer, Paul, very good drummer. My first guitar player, RV, very nice guy, great players, but it was just too hard on them. They missed their girlfriend, their families, the food, the bread, the wine. They just couldn't really adjust. So they went home after about 6 months, and then Terry and I stuck it out. We were like two pit bulls. We were not going to go home.
Right.
And then we started to recruit people. We recruited different guitar players, different drummers. Slowly but surely, we managed to put a band together to play the clubs, play the whiskey, and it was a day at a time, baby steps,
right,
really.
Right. Is there any names that you remember that tried out, or you guys tried out that went on to do other things?
The first guy we hired, Bobby Piper, great guitar player, went to Heaven.
Okay.
The singer just died a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
You remember, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Yeah, I can't.
Great singer, but Heaven took him away from us. And then we had a couple of guys in and out of Ozzy. Everybody was playing for Ozzy at one point.
Right.
We had a moment with Scott from Judas Priest on drums.
Oh,
Played
wow.
drums for us for like 2 or 3 weeks. But he was too tall. I love Scott, but dude, you're too tall. And
fucking drummers, man! I swear to God.
In the picture, it didn't look right because Terry is not exactly the tallest man alive.
Terry's a little guy.
Yeah. So sitting next to Scott Travis, it looked weird. And Scott was a great drummer, so he stayed with us for a while. Then we had a couple of guys come in and out, and then finally we settled with Paul Monroe. We settled because it was 2 days before a show at the Whiskey, and the drummer we had at the time just didn't work out. And Paul, we didn't know him. I didn't know if he could play drums. In fact, we never rehearsed with him. I gave him a cassette. He learned the songs, and he told me on the phone. He said, "Pat, I'm ready. I want to do this." And I say, "Okay, I'm gonna settle." Right. Because that's all I got now. So we actually did the show at the Whiskey, and Paul did great, and so he stayed in the band.
Nice. Who do you listen to growing up in France?
Man, I was always a big fan of. I started with Pink Floyd. That was my first love. I loved Pink Floyd, and on the other hand was Judas Priest. I was a big fan.
Okay.
A very big fan. So it was funny when Scott joined Judas Priest. I was like, well, a little bit of me is connected to that.
Right, absolutely.
Pretty funny.
Did you have any American influence, or was it all European?
We did. Of course, we didn't know anything about Van Halen.
Right.
Until we heard the first one, Running with the Devil. And when that came up, I was like, oh, my God. Suddenly I thought the English bands are no good.
Right, right.
It was all about America at that point. I mean, Eddie Van Halen was an inspiration to millions, and I was just one of them. He really changed the game. I'm sure he changed the game like Jimi Hendrix changed the game.
Absolutely.
He really kind of completely reshuffle the cards.
Well, they had to create tabulature for him.
That's right.
Which is insane. It's
That's
like,
right.
This guy's so good that we can't write your music out, so we have to create a way to write your music out so people can understand
That's
it.
right. They invented an alphabet to transcribe Eddie Van Halen's finger play. He was so amazing. So amazing. He's still amazing. But he was a huge influence. I saw him live in Europe a couple of times. But it's really that first time I heard Eruption, it was just like, man, who is this guy?
Right.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Right. Where the hell did this come from?
And it was just like, it just smelled like California. It smelled like palm trees and suntan oil. And
right.
I was
So when you got here, that's when like Randy Rhoads is still playing with Quiet Riot.
Yeah. It was really, we got here in 1982. So of course, Poison was already on the Strip, passing flyers, and Guns N' Roses, and all the early Motley Crue was still kind of playing clubs, really, even though they were already pretty big. We're on the same label for a while, and it was really this magical moment in Hollywood, really, 82, right. 83, 84, Whitesnake and Quiet Riot, and it was just this amazing place to be. Everybody was just so blessed to be there. I think we didn't know how special it was as we lived it. But now that I look back, it was just a magical moment. And it's funny because we toured Europe last year or the year before. And at the meet and greets after the shows, every kid in Europe, especially Scandinavia, they all want to know about Hollywood in the 80s, 85,
I want to know about Hollywood in the 80s. Even though I know about it, I love hearing about it.
I mean, it was such a magical place, It was a moment in time, perhaps like San Francisco in the late 60s,
Okay.
Perhaps that type of thing. Nothing lasts forever, as we know.
Right.
But Hollywood in the mid-'80s or late 80s was really this magical place. You could sit at the Rainbow and chit-chat with Tommy Lee and have a beer with Axl Rose and flirt with the girls that were all flocked around the Poison guys.
Right.
It was just awesome. It was really the best time ever. The girls were sexy. They had mini skirts and fishnets.
Oh, yeah.
And,
dressed like a bunch of hoes.
That's right. I loved every minute of it.
Fuck yeah. Did you ever get to go to the famous Motley parties behind the whiskey?
No, for a minute, Tommy Lee and I shared a girlfriend. So I saw him at the apartment. We lived a block from the whiskey with this girl. And so I saw him in the morning when he came back from rehearsal, and we never really talked because there was like this friction.
Right.
We all knew we were fucking the same girl, but we never really talked about it.
Right.
So I was never really in the Motley Crue club, if you will.
Okay.
I was more hanging out. We all rehearsed where the Guitar Center stands today. It actually it was a building that belonged to Ronnie James Dio and his wife, Wendy Dio.
Oh, wow.
And all the bands rehearsed there.
I did not know this. This is news to me. I like this.
Right underneath the Guitar Center, there was caves, like some kind of basement. And it was Ronnie in there. Ronnie and Poison and Guns N' Roses. It was like a bunch of bands in there. And we lived a block away, so we rehearsed there. And it was more than a rehearsal place. It was a motel. They had sleeping bags everywhere, and everybody was high, and and it was just an endless party. It was a great time. I don't know what happened to that. I think for a while, the Guitar Center people still rehearsed in there, or did classes in there.
Okay,
but I don't think it exists anymore. It's probably buried with sand or something because of earthquake.
You would think they would have to fill that shit in. It's not like Minnesota where we have basements.
Yeah, all the basements. That's a thing of the past too. I think when the earthquakes regulation came in the 90s, they kind of shut that down.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so Deal practiced there, Poison, GNR, you guys.
Yeah. It was really a time where we all kind of were, if you will, on the same playing field.
Right.
Everybody was looking for a deal, of course, from Warrant to Crywolf. Some of them got the deal. I love Crywolf.
Hey, Pretender!
That's right.
It's a great fucking
That's
tune.
right. And it's funny because at the end of the day, some of us got a deal and some of us didn't.
Right.
Such is life,
Well, when I had the Junkyard guys on a couple of weeks ago, did you know any of those guys?
Junkyard? Not really. Are they from here?
Yeah, they're from here. They're from here.
I don't know.
They have a lot of punk ties, punk roots.
Yeah, that's right. They were a little
roots.
more punk than we were.
The drummer Pat, he was telling me, like, off air, he was telling me about, like, he was in a band with fucking Izzy before Izzy was in Guns N' Roses.
That's right. Yeah.
Because Izzy was a punk guy too, and all this shit. But I mean, they were talking about. I forgot what they were talking about. I forgot where I was going with this.
You'd been drinking too much, my friend.
I had been drinking too much. Not tonight.
Not
tonight. Unfortunately, not tonight.
Yeah, Junkyard. I forgot the year. They had a song. What year was it? It's more late
89.
80s.
I think 89 is when they broke. Yeah, because they had That's Life in Hollywood.
That's Life in Hollywood,
Yep.
Of course.
Simple Man.
Great song. Simple Man. Of course, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Get Your Hands Off My Throat.
That was great. Yeah, they actually brought a little punk to our heavy metal. That was cool.
Right.
Very
absolutely,
cool.
Absolutely. How long did it take you guys to get signed?
Our first show was in '86 at Madame Wong's. Doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, they were talking about Madame Wong's.
Well, yeah, everybody played there, dude.
Right.
Everybody played there. First show, '86. We had a record deal with Atlantic for 5 minutes in '87. Went to the studio, recorded 8 or 9 songs with George Tutko, a dear friend of mine that just passed away a few months ago, by the way. A great producer. And then Atlantic kind of sat on it for a while, and they were going to release it, and it not, and yes and no. It was kind of, it took forever, and we decided to walk out of that deal that we like that demo deal we had with them. So we kind of starved for another 2 or 3 years, and we were signed to Enigma Capitol in early '89.
Now, is this the story that I did not want to hear last Wednesday when you were talking to that gal outside of the Lucky Strike? She's the one that got me signed.
Oh yeah. That's the one.
I told you, it's like I don't want to hear this. I want to save it for the show. So
that's the one. It's funny how it goes because life is so unpredictable.
Right.
We all wanted a record deal, and when I think the band that got signed maybe a few months before we did was Warrant, and Warrant was signed to Columbia, big money, and we were so, of course, delighted for them. I was a good friend of Janie's. I was thrilled they got it, but at the same time we were kind of devastated because we didn't get it, and we were like trying to find a way to get in there, and all these scenarios that we had, we're always going through lawyers, management, or whoever was connected with the scene, and it didn't go that way at all. In fact, I was driving to rehearsal in my car, and I was playing Inside Out, a demo of Inside Out, and on my cassette. At the time it was cassette, in the car, and there was a motorcycle that pulled right next to me, and the guy said, well, shit, that sounds pretty good here. What are you listening to? And I said, oh, that's my band, we're going to rehearsal. And right before the red light turns into green, I gave him the cassette, and that was it. He left. He left. And then maybe 3-4 days later, he calls me. He said, dude, my girlfriend works for a label. I really like the song you were playing in your car. Can I give her the tape? And that's the girl you met at the
all
show.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how it went down. And
wow.
Complete traffic jam. No attorneys. No attorneys, no manager, no middleman. We went straight to the label. They sent us a limo on a Tuesday. I thought it was a joke. We got in the car. Right. We went there. Do you want a deal? We were like, yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it's funny because, most bands have a different way to get there, And I don't think there's a recipe to get a record.
No, it's like you always hear the stories like, yeah, they saw us play here, and then, they're like, they really liked what we did live, and yada, 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 so we did a demo, blah, 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 blah. This was just, you were listening to your own music.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, because, I was going to rehearsal, and we just changed a little bit of the song, so I wanted to learn it. I wanted to learn it myself before I got there.
So it wasn't an ego thing. Listen to me.
No, I was like, dude, I better get my shit together and learn this song before I get there. Right. And, I don't know. I didn't even have a convertible. I don't know how you heard it. The windows were down.
Playing like an old Kratos stereo. Just fucking crackling.
He had a Chevy Nova from 1972, and it was beat to hell. And we kept that car for years. We kept it and kept it and kept it all the way to the record deal. So,
oh wow! Now, you hear Blackie and you hear all these guys talking about, what they were going through in these days, like living in closets. And what was your experience like?
Yeah, we all lived in an apartment on Fontaine Avenue, right next to the Guitar Center. And then there was always somebody coming in town with their girlfriend or their sister or the cousin. So it was always packed with people in my apartment. It was just a 2-bedroom, but it was always packed with people. A lot of musicians we auditioned, or tried, came in from other states, and we're like, well, come over here, crash for a couple of weeks, we'll see how it goes. And then some of them worked out, some of them didn't. So it was always like a bunch of people eating spaghetti in my apartment. Spaghetti was on the menu.
That's right. This was pre-ramen.
This
was pre-ramen.
Yeah, ramen was fancy, dude. It was spaghetti. And it's funny because we all walked to Ralph's, Rock and Roll Ralph's there. Yep. And this was the scene really at night where people would kind of shop, and everybody was always in the spaghetti aisle. All those bands, dude. It's pretty funny. You wanted to meet someone in Hollywood, you didn't go to the Rainbow, you could go to Ralph's in the spaghetti aisle.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I never hear these stories.
Yeah.
This wasn't in the Motley Crue book.
No, it was not in the Crue book.
Oh, they were talking about girls that were feeding them. They were talking about the fucking spaghetti aisle at fucking Ralph's.
Yeah,
fucking love it. How did the pussy change?
I tell you, it was an amazing change overnight in the 80s. I mean, obviously, we owe everything to rock and roll women.
Right.
We came to Hollywood in 82, and without the women, whether they were strippers or working at Kmart or something, without those women to support us, we wouldn't be here. I don't think any band would be here. All those guys. The women were key. They loved us. They took care of us. They fucked the shit out of us, of course, but that was part of it.
Well, of course, yes.
Yeah. It was wonderful. So I always remember that. I always take my hat off to women.
Right.
Whether they were associated with us or with other bands, or whether they were circulating from a band to another. They really kept us alive. They fed us. They scrubbed us in the shower.
Nice.
And they were there when we played, and they were there every step of the way. And I make it a point today to never turn my back on those early women that are now a lot older,
right,
and a lot fatter,
right.
Right. But I never turn my back
happens,
on. Yeah. And I never turn my back on them. And I owe, or we owe, every bit of small success we had to them, really.
Right. Well, how did the level of pussy change from when before you got signed to all of a sudden you're on MTV?
Oh, it was great. I remember going to MTV. It was in New York City at the time on a what was it, the Headbangers Ball.
Uh-huh.
At that time, we didn't have a face. People heard the song on the radio, but they couldn't put our image with the music, I guess. And from the moment you're on MTV, I remember going down the elevator onto Times Square and walking out on the street, and suddenly right there was a line of girls. And we only played the video 5 minutes ago.
Holy shit.
It was just this amazing thing, MTV. Amazing thing. It really put us on the map overnight. Headbangers Ball was key to a band at that time.
Was this the Ricky era, or was this
absolutely.
pre-Ricky? Okay, this
That's
is Ricky.
the Ricky years, yeah.
Okay.
Ricky was the guy that just put you on the map. It's funny because he looked amazing on the boat. You saw him.
Yeah, he looks great.
I was like, Ricky, dude, what is he, 25-year-old, this kid?
Right.
Man,
yeah, he looks fucking young.
He looks fantastic, and Ricky, we owe a big chunk of our success to Ricky. Even though he was always a little bit more Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, Pretty Boy Floyd, and we were a little bit more, if you will, musical. No disrespect there, but we're more Van Halen than Pretty Boy Floyd, if you know what I mean. But even though Ricky Headbangers Ball was really this sleazy, cool Hollywood thing, we were a little bit more international, I think.
Okay.
And even though he may not have loved our music, he was very supportive of the Hollywood bands,
right?
And the effort that we put into the scene. He was in a band called Virgin that you may remember, so he knows firsthand what it takes,
right,
to try to succeed. And he was very good at us, or very good at at paying us that homage, if you will.
Were you a Cathouse band?
Yes, we never played the Cathouse, but I was there every whatever it was.
Right.
It was Tuesday. What was it? I don't know. I forgot.
I think it was Tuesdays.
It was Tuesday.
I don't know if because I was there. I just don't.
No, we never played there for some reason. We were very whiskey. Whiskey was our home. We always played the whiskey. We kind of almost had like a exclusive deal with the whiskey, so we didn't really dare straying from that place. We played the Troubadour a couple of times, but no, we never played the Cathouse.
I know where I was going with the Junkyard thing. They were talking about how the difference between East Hollywood and West Hollywood, and they like preferred playing over in East Hollywood.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a border of some sort,
right,
between East and West. There still is.
Yeah,
big time. East and West are a different. It's almost like a different city.
Right, exactly.
We were always West Hollywood because we had a great relationship with the whiskey people. Lou Adler, owner of the place at the time, managed the band for a little while. I still owe him some money, by the way. And he reminds me of that once in a while.
Every time
once in a while.
Hey, Pat, you got that $200 you owe me? What the fuck's going on?
I think it was $200.
Oh, $200.
Yeah.
With interest.
Yeah, with the interest. It's probably high by now. But they were very good. Lou managed us a little bit on some level. We had a very good relationship with the whiskey. And we were like, well, we're okay there. What do we don't really need to go anywhere else. So we stayed at the whiskey for years. And Warrant was Gazzari's up the street.
Okay.
And there was a little competitive thing for a little while. But really on the Strip at the time, the Strip was really between Doheny and the whiskey corner, which is Larrabee.
Right.
Or San Vicente, I think.
San Vicente. Well, one side San Vicente and then the other side.
That's right, Larrabee. Yeah. And that's where we lived. Now, the other bands, there was a scene in Hollywood, but Hollywood at the time is very different from what it is today. There was no tourists.
Right.
It was prostitutes and crack dealers. It was awesome.
You can still find the prostitutes in Santa Monica, but there's a 99% chance they have cocks.
Yeah. It was very different today. Hollywood, as you know, is kind of Disneyland.
Right.
It's very safe and organized and clean. But back in the day, it was kind of dangerous, a little shady at night. A lot of bands were kind of flocking around the MI, the Musical Institute there. They had good rehearsal spaces underneath the building. But we never really played the Hollywood clubs for some reason. None of them are here today.
Right.
I think they're all gone. But they were the clubs that existed in Hollywood catered more to a punk scene, if you will.
Which makes sense
That's
for the
right.
Junkyard guys, because that's where they came from.
And then the rock and roll, the more melodic rock was really the Strip.
Okay.
Gazzari's, the Roxy, the Rainbow. At the time, the Viper Room was called the Central, and it was pre-Johnny Depp, of course. It was more of a country bar, really, in fact.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. But we did play there a few times. They had some rock and roll bands, but that was before they were called the Viper Room.
Right. Yeah, because I think he bought that in, the 90s?
Must have been very
late
late 80s or early 90s.
Early 90s?
Yeah.
What was it like for you guys? I mean, how long did your run last?
Well, from 86 to 89, 3 years in Hollywood, really playing the clubs. Then we got signed.
Right.
And in some strange way, the record company decided that we should almost turn our backs to Hollywood and really focus on the East Coast. So we did major tours on the East Coast. We only played Hollywood. We did the Palace, which is now something else, the Avalon, I think, or not even. They changed that again, I think. I don't know what's the name of it today.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we did the Palace when the KNAC people were really behind us. But we never really played Hollywood as a signed band, which is kind of a shame. We were always very we went gold in Canada very quickly. So the label thought those guys need to tour Canada. So we were in Canada for months at a time. And we were kind of hoping they would bring us back to the sun, to California.
Right.
But, sometimes you don't choose your audience, and you go where the records are selling.
Right, absolutely. How was being from France, I mean, how was your success in your homeland?
We went back to Europe a couple of times. It's funny because we are from France, but we were always considered, for some strange reason, a German band by the European press. So I was always trying to explain to people, no, we're not from Germany. We're actually born in France. Even today, when I do interviews, some people always kind of confuse us with German bands, maybe because of the Scorpions and Accept and all those bands that came from Germany, where really no bands came from France. So maybe the journalists or the people in the business kind of associate Europe with either England or Germany, and the rest doesn't exist. So that's probably the thing here. But it was always great. We did very good in Switzerland. Great in Germany, of course. Great in Scandinavia. France was, believe it or not, really not our favorite target. Still, we go to France, of course, for the food and the wine.
Right.
The rock scene in France has never been great.
Right.
Today is very, very dense, very disco, very techno, very, very computer. And
you think of Paris, you think of high scale.
That's right.
So that's not rock and roll at all.
No, it's not rock and roll. I mean, there's very big acts in France, like of course Justice and some techno wizards of that sort, but not really rock bands. It was never a rock band kind of thing. So Germany and Sweden, of course. Sweden is the land of the melodic rock.
Right.
It has survived there. It's like it's like frozen in time. You could go to Stockholm now and go down the street. It's like Hollywood in '86.
Really?
It's really awesome. Really awesome. We played Stockholm 2 years ago, and I thought, typically we attract a age range of 30 to 45. But no, in Stockholm, we had like teenagers.
Oh,
and it was just amazing to play in front of those 20,000 kids screaming. And those kids were not even born when we got signed. It was very strange.
It's kind of like that whole I'm huge in Japan thing.
Yeah.
So you do 20,000 over in Stockholm, then you come here and you got 10 people at the whiskey.
Funny how that goes, dude.
It's fucking weird. I mean, okay, so you got signed in '89.
Yeah.
And the first record comes out.
Yeah.
Was there a second? Was there a follow up?
Yeah.
I don't know that much about XYZ.
Yeah. It's funny because we were signed in '89. That's true. The first record did pretty good. We charted very quickly. Sold quite a bit. Great tour support from different bands. Went out with bands like Foreigner and Ted Nugent and Alice Cooper.
What's it like touring with Ted Nugent in the '80s?
Ted Nugent in the '80s was just this figure of controversy, but not on the political level like it is today. More so on animal rights. Level, and I was never really in agreement with Ted, but I must say that, you know what, I admire people that speak what they consider the truth. He's got a big mouth, and I admire that.
Right.
I disagree with him, but he's talking.
Just to stop you for a second, that's what I love. Did you watch the Trump speech? The Donald Trump
I see.
Speech?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it, in fact, on the train coming here. But I kind of like the same idea, which is I don't care what you're saying. At least you got the balls to say it.
And I talked about it at the beginning of the show a little. I didn't get too much into it because this is really a political show. But it's like he just has that testicular fortitude. Yeah. This is me. This is what I want to do. This is why you suck.
That's right.
And this is what I'm going to do. And I'm fucking rich. Deal with it. It's like, I love it.
Yeah, you're right, because we're so fucking politically correct
nowadays.
You can't say anything without offending someone.
Right.
And I think the people that don't care about offending someone are okay in my book. They could be completely left or completely right, and that's okay. I kind of admire that. People that just speak what they believe is the truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a political discussion with a bass player. Believe it or not. So anyways, back to Ted.
Ted was great.
Was Ted clean by this time, or was he still?
He was a little bit of a drunk, I must say. Walked around with guns in his belt. very, very interesting character. He actually was fascinated by guitar playing, and he actually came to our dressing room at night and sat with Mark because he was really interested in that Eddie Van Halen technique, and Mark was really good at that. My guitar player was this wizard on the guitar that could, do an emulation of Van Halen like nobody's business. So Ted was fascinated by that, so he wanted to learn that and suck it in. And in fact, he asked us to hire Mark a few times, and we fought that, of course.
Right.
But those two got along great, even on the political views and the animal right views. Mark Diglio, my guitar player, and Ted Nugent were like two pods together, if you will.
Right.
Two peas in the pod, so to speak. And it was kind of nice to sit there in the dressing room, having a beer, watching Ted Nugent and my guitar player jamming, because when I was a kid in the late 70s, I had a huge poster of Ted Nugent in my bedroom with his caveman looking thing.
The fucking loincloth.
Yeah. And the tail in the back, whatever, a raccoon tail hanging in from his underwear or something. And I was watching this guy play with my guitar player in the dressing room thinking, fuck, this is the stuff that dreams are made of.
Right.
It was awesome.
Compare it to touring with Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper, we toured with Alice Cooper because at the time the drummer was Eric Singer.
That's right.
That's right. And we were kind of buddies with Eric. That's how we got the tour, I think. I was a huge fan of Cooper because Cooper brought to rock and roll the theater.
Right.
And everybody owes Cooper. Kiss, Motley Crue.
Yep.
Marilyn Manson, we owe Alice Cooper. He brought this sense of music is fine, but if you could add a storyline to it, it becomes magic.
And that was the thing about Cooper, and even with Kiss, it's like people say, oh, it's just a show. Bullshit.
No, it's not a show.
It's not a show with a soundtrack. If it wasn't for that soundtrack, if that soundtrack wasn't good, that show would...
That's right. I completely agree with you. It's like going to a movie.
Right.
You're not going to mute the sound.
Right, exactly.
Or you're not going to, if you go to a show, you're not going to mute a rock and roll show. You're not going to close your eyes. I think we suck in data through everything.
Right.
Vibration, sound, sight, smell, everything. It's a big part of it. The Alice Cooper show is really hard to beat.
Right.
I don't know what kind of budget he had back in the day. But it was just great. There was blood everywhere, spiders running around, people dressed as corpse. There was zombies everywhere. It was awesome.
So warming up Alice Cooper, I mean, what response are you getting from the crowd that's there to see Alice Cooper?
Right, it's a tough thing, when you're on a tour like that as an opening act, you get 20 minutes. Yep. You don't get a sound check. You don't get full PA. I think we got 75% of the PA, probably 50% of the lights. So you're kind of naked. You go on stage. You're in front of an audience that may or may not know one of your songs.
Right.
So you kind of play that song, hoping they heard it on the radio that day. It's a tough spot, but you're exposed to a lot of people. And I think if you gain even 50, 100 people every night. Damn, even if you gain 30 people or 25 every night, that's still pretty good.
Right, because they're going to go buy the record and they're going
to,
hey, check this record out to their friends.
That's right.
It's funny because I was talking to PJ Farley on the phone before you came in here, and that was one thing I told him. Was like, first time I saw Trixter, they were opening for Kiss.
That's right.
Kiss,
I remember
Great
that.
White, and Trixter.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to see fucking Trixter.
No,
I didn't want to see Great White.
Yeah,
I was in Kiss mode. I only wanted to see Kiss. So of course it was like, But then I go see Trixter in a fucking club when they come through come to St. Cloud in the little fucking ballroom in the town that I'm in, and it's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
It's tough. Opening for a big act is tough, but I think at the end of the day, exposure is worth it. You may be limited. You can't do what you want. There's rules. You can't get on the drum riser.
Right.
That type of thing. You only have a certain amount of space on stage, so you feel a little bit like you're being ripped off. But I I think for the fans, the people that show up early, there's a certain amount of the crowd that is closed-minded, and a certain amount that is very open-minded.
Right.
So you're not going to win over the closed-minded. They want to see Kiss or they want to see Cooper, and they paid their money to see that, and that's all they care about. I think there's quite a few people that are very open-minded,
right,
very receptive to new music, and it's the beauty of the system that people are receptive to new music. I know I am. When I go see a band, I often say, you know what, I want to be there for the opening act because I don't know those guys and I want to check them out. I think that's the beauty of the system. Now, I don't know how long that system is going to be in place because nowadays it seems that if you want to open for a big act, then you got to pay for it.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a different system where the rich people get to be on stage and the poor one still in the club. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happened to me when I went to see Whitesnake.
Yeah.
And this fucking gorgeous blonde comes walking on stage. Her name is Diamante.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
When was that? Last couple of days?
No, it was last week, last Tuesday.
Oh, so you're talking the LA show or the Vegas show?
LA show.
Oh, okay.
The LA show, yeah. And I think she did the.
I don't know if
Vegas
she did.
show.
Yeah, did you?
She did Vegas too, and San Francisco. But yeah, I mean, she was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hot.
So did you show up early to make sure?
I just showed up early because I had general admission.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, she was. But yeah, I like that. I like seeing who's opening up. I mean, there's bands where I didn't really care for, like when the Kiss reunion tour. It's in St. Louis, they get Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
In Minneapolis, we get fucking King Buzzo.
I remember that. Yeah. Who the fuck was that? Who the fuck? Those guys paid to get on that fucking.
Oh, absolutely.
That doesn't seem right.
No.
I see. I
and
think,
I'm still not a fan of that band.
Yeah, I even forgot their name. But I know what you mean. I think sometimes when you're a major act like that, you have to consider that your opening act is kind of a big deal. And
absolutely.
It's a very big deal, and it should be something that not only works for your public, but also you're kind of returning the favor in some ways. You got big, not because of some magical fairy dust that came from the sky.
Right.
You got big because people bought your records, and I think it's fair to kind of pass that on to your opening act.
Well, and it's funny because Gene always brags about it. It's like, Bon Jovi, their first tour, yada, their first tour.
Yeah.
And like, when I had Mark Slaughter on here, we were talking about that. I asked him about the Kiss tour, and he goes, our very first show as Slaughter was opening for Kiss on that.
Is that right? I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah.
Because he, the whole thing happened with Vinny. They offered, Mark the deal because of the way it was set up. He was explaining it how when Steve Stevens left Billy Idol, that's when they started, putting these clauses in the contract where if one major part of the band leaves, we're going to retain your services, and that's how Slaughter got their deal. And they put the record together, and all of a sudden, boom, they're on tour with Kiss, not playing a single gig before it.
That's amazing. You're right.
That's insane.
Bunch of guys from Vegas too, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
because Slaughter was never a Hollywood band. I don't remember them on the Strip at all.
They never played.
They never fucking played. Yeah, that's kind of amazing. So, Dana was in another band, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, Dana and Mark were both
in Vinnie Vincent. Yeah. So they had that going. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I remember. In fact, that's the time where they changed the contracts, as you pointed out.
Yeah, because Steve Stevens left Billy Idol and went and got his own deal. Okay, so the second record comes out. Is this like
second record comes out? So now we're not on Enigma Capitol anymore. We're now on Capitol EMI. EMI bought the company. We're on Capitol, so a bigger label, if you will. We kind of opted to, after discussing it with our management, we opted to focus more on headlining clubs versus opening for a band. And maybe it was a good thing, maybe it was a bad thing. I'm not sure. We had a lot of fun. Of course, when you headline, you play longer.
Yep.
You could bring, you have your own tour bus. You have all the accoutrements, if you will, of a big show, the smoke machine and all that stuff. It was great. We felt like rock stars for a minute. We played all the clubs that would kind of take us, probably 500-600 seaters, a little bit like maybe Gazzari's or maybe the Palace kind of thing. It was a really good time. We may have missed out on a couple of bigger tours that we were offered, like the Aerosmith thing. Maybe it was a good move, maybe it was a bad move. I don't know. Very quickly into that tour, Alice in Chains came on the tube on MTV, followed by Nirvana very quickly. And I remember being in New York City. We played the Ritz in New York. And back to the hotel with a couple of girls. We saw Nirvana, Teen Spirit on TV, and I remember thinking, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And what is it going to do? And the next day we talked about it, and then went back to the room, and it was STP, Stone Temple Pilots, which I love.
Yeah.
It was on the TV too, and I remember my guitar player said, dude, it's over. It's over for us. The long hair, the cocaine, the pretty girls, it's over. And I thought, well, what the fuck are you talking about? The party rages on. I was like, no, this is fucking awesome, man. And he was right. Really, in a matter of months, 91, 92, the whole system just came to a screeching halt. I mean, if you had long hair and if you were not from Seattle, you were fucked.
Right.
It was really brutal. The radios across the states turned on bands like us overnight.
Like that.
Like really in a matter of weeks.
Wow. It's like once Nirvana hit,
it was
and
over.
Then Alice in Chains. I remember the first time I heard Alice in Chains. It was Man in the Box.
Man in the Box was awesome. In fact, Alice in Chains is a strange kind of hybrid, because I remember we played Cabo Wabo with them. I think they opened for us, in fact. So they kind of fit the melodic rock thing.
Right.
But they were nevertheless that hidden monster in there, the depressing heroin versus cocaine. This is what defines Seattle and Hollywood.
Right, because you think of cocaine, you think of up.
That's right.
And you think of heroin, you think down.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. In Hollywood, we did cocaine, and in Seattle, they did heroin. Completely different animal. And we went from party to depression.
Right.
As you remember, very quickly. Alice in Chains kind of managed to be a little bit in between, but as soon as Pearl Jam came about, dude, we were just screwed. And there was no fighting it. And even though today I still listen to Nirvana, because Dave is just not Kurt. I'm not really a huge fan of Kurt, but
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl is just this amazing creation. I don't know where he comes from, this guy, but he's magical.
Did you know that he has never played a Nirvana song with the Foo Fighters?
No, I didn't know that. I did not
talk about something to respect.
That's amazing.
Because, I mean, he could go out there and do like a medley of Nirvana shit, but he doesn't.
Wow. And what's his reasoning there?
I don't know.
That's very interesting.
I mean, if I ever get the chance to talk to him, that's one of the things I would want to ask him.
That is very interesting.
And obviously, you heard what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, he broke his leg somewhere in Sweden.
Yeah. And he finished the show. Amazing. What this guy's amazing. Right.
I have a lot of respect for this guy. Pearl Jam, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I need to sit down with someone, somebody that's patient, that's going to explain. Yeah.
I don't get it.
And the rest of Seattle, look, there was great bands in Seattle. And God bless Seattle. I have a lot of friends in Seattle. Maybe Hollywood was the Mecca for too long, and maybe a new Mecca needed to spring up, so to speak.
Was there a point where you said, fuck, we're going to have to change?
Yes.
Did you try to?
Yes, we went in the studio for a third record, and we all kind of had this let's change kind of thing. And I was like, you know what? Fuck, I don't think I want to do this. I didn't change, so I actually walked away from the band to start another band. Terry continued with maybe a slight change. Not he didn't go Seattle on us, but he kind of changed a little bit on the third XYZ record. I wrote the lyrics for that, but I was not involved with the music at all. But I think, look, we're all victim. I think we're all are victims of our surrounding.
Oh, absolutely.
We adapt. We're musicians. We want to earn a living at this. You got to adapt. I think when we came to Hollywood, we were very pop, and we adapted to this heavy metal scene by becoming harder and tougher and cranking up the distortion on the guitars a little bit. We adapted. Mm-hmm. And I think with Seattle, we all had a tendency to say, well, look, let's adapt again. Let's not talk about pussy anymore. Let's talk about death.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I can't really write songs about death. I was the lyricist for the band, and lyrically, I just couldn't do it. It's not my thing.
Were you able to go back to when you were a struggling band? That's another thing I want to ask you too. But were you able to go back to that time? Because to get into the sadder, because living through what you lived through before you guys got signed.
Yeah. But see, what we lived through before we got signed was not depressing.
Okay.
It was a little bit. We were down, of course, because at times you feel like it's never going to happen. But we were surrounded by this party atmosphere. The blow, the girls,
right.
The rock and roll on the radio, KNAC,
girls
in
blowing.
Your car. Oh my God, it was awesome, and it was such an uplifting scene that even if you were kind of depressed at rehearsal or kind of regretful or bitter, perhaps, just going out on the strip on a Saturday night and hanging out with Axl or Slash or whoever was there. Eric Singer was always there. We were just kind of brought back to this party fest,
right,
on every weekend, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anyway, and it was just it was really hard to be depressed, because the vibe was so up. I don't think there was downers. People didn't do downers back in the day.
Right.
It was all cocaine and alcohol. It was just a great time, dude.
So even though you were struggling, there was still no this sucks type thing, which was coming. That's why I was asking, were you able to go back to that time? And how, when you had that taste of success, how did that affect your songwriting?
Well, when you get a little bit of success, you're now slave to whatever song worked for you. So the first song that came out was Inside Out, and it was actually a little bit more sophisticated a song than the rest. It was a little more a musical. There was more parts to it. So we kind of became a little bit slave to that. So you kind of say, oh, well, this one worked. So we kind of going to go that way a little bit. I think that's fair. Every artist does that. Even though perhaps you don't choose the single, the record label did. I think you become slave to your success, and that's fair. That's fine. I remember talking to other artists about that. Don Dokken produced our first record, of course, and we often talked about that, how much you become slave to what you think was not going to work.
Okay.
It's often the case that the song that works for you is not the one you expected to work.
Right.
And most bands have that story, I think. But that's okay. It's better to be slave to something you created than to get a factory job. That's what I always tell I tell my musicians that every day. I say, dude, you're not going to a factory tomorrow to earn a living, so this is a blessing. What we're doing is just amazing. The fact that somebody actually supported me, a record label supported us for the last 20 years, and then we could earn a living at doing something like this is just completely amazing.
Right.
So we're very grateful. I'm very grateful. I live in the moment. There's always what ifs,
Right.
But this is great. This has been a great run. I'm so delighted this revival is taking place. In fact, I met you because of that revival.
Because of this, because of the Monsters of Rock.
Yeah, Monsters of Rock, of course, is what put it back on the map, on the water, so to speak.
On the water, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. I mean, being on the ship last couple of years with you, in fact, you see all those bands and all this talent, great singers, great guitar players, wonderful drummers, all those people that come here because they love what we did.
Right.
meeting all those fans that know every song, every lyric of your song. It's just amazing, dude. It's just we're very blessed. This is great. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know when the next Nirvana thing is coming.
It's got to come around at some point.
It's got.
But what's it going to be?
I don't know. That's a question. That's the $1 million question.
Exactly.
What's next?
And where does it come from?
I don't know.
I guarantee it's not coming from Los Angeles.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, where's the scene? Where's the scene
I don't
that's
know.
going to happen from? Because obviously New York has been tapped. Seattle, tapped. L.A., tapped long
Gone.
ago. There is no rock scene.
Maybe
in LA.
maybe it could come from Asia, perhaps, which is the new market.
Right.
If the Chinese people wanted to put a record company together, they could. Well, we owe them everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? If anybody listened to fucking Mr. Trump, you would know that.
Yeah, everything, your computer with a microphone, the cable,
Right.
everything that we are using right now is probably made in China.
Absolutely. Did you ever have to deal with, or do you still have to deal with the stigma of being from the 80s?
Yes, I do. I know.
At what levels? I mean, talk to me about this.
Very often, well, first of all, we all look it,
Right.
a little bit. We try to, we never really had an image really per se, but the long hair, the jeans, and the pointy boots, and the leather jacket, that was kind of our thing, and
Right.
we still kind of manifest that on some level. I often meet people that don't know or never heard of Quiet Riot or Van Halen. And when I tell them, I was in the band in the 80s, they're like, oh, the 80s, yeah. Oh, yeah, my mother, my father type
Right.
of thing. That's kind of funny. But the 80s, I think, at the end of the day, will be a special time in the books. Again, perhaps like the 60s, the Summer of Love, 69 in San Francisco, or Woodstock. It could be that the 70s don't really stick around for that long. The 70s were not really fun for anyone, I think, except the disco people. But the 60s, the 80s, I think the 90s will disappear in this depressing cloud of darkness.
Right.
Now, the new millennium, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's this new... I remember when Rage Against the Machine came up, I was very excited because they had a hybrid of what we did and what the rapper did. It was this magical... I'm a big fan of Rage. I thought they had this combination of creativity that was very refreshing, and I was very excited as an artist. But now, where is that? I don't know. I don't know what happened to that. There's a couple of bands that went into that hybrid that I thought was brilliant. I love, for instance, Linkin Park. I'm a big fan of Linkin Park. Or Disturb, I remember was one of my favorite 10 years ago. But I'd love to hear a band that comes with what Eddie Van Halen came with, or what Jimi Hendrix came with. People that came in with something so special and had imitators in their wake. We were imitators.
Right.
We wanted to be Van Halen.
Something that's going to make your jaw drop.
That's right.
Like the first time I saw Metallica.
Yeah,
I knew
there you
nothing
go.
about Metallica.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the Monsters of Rock tour.
Yeah, what year was that then?
88. Van Halen, Scorpions, Doc, and Metallica, because
Yeah,
it was before
yeah.
Justice came out. It was
Yeah,
like
that's right.
It was like the garage redays.
AC/DC on the bill too, right?
No. It was Van Halen, Scorpions, Doc, and Metallica, and Kingdom Come.
Oh, I see. That's right.
And
Oh,
I think I had heard part of Sanitarium on MTV.
Yeah.
That was it. That was
Yeah.
during the special.
That's right.
I had no fucking idea what I
Wow.
was in
Where
store
was it?
for.
What city was it?
It was in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
the Metrodome,
yeah.
because it was the tour.
That's right.
I did that tour, and I just remember when Metallica hit that stage and they started playing, my jaw dropped. I'm like,
Wow.
what the fuck is this? I bought Puppets the next day.
Hey,
Like
who was
that.
playing right before them?
Kingdom Come.
That's a great band too, dude.
Fucking amazing band.
Amazing band.
That's another
Yeah.
band. That they get that
Kingdom Come. That's right.
amazing, but they get that stigma. Oh, they're just trying to be Led Zeppelin. Everybody's trying to be fucking.
Yeah,
Led
everybody is trying to be their Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, or Van Halen,
right?
or AC/DC.
Right. I had heard Vito Bratta He was on. He did this interview with Eddie Trunk a few years back. It was like first time he had spoken in public in years, and he was telling a story. This is kind of where I was going with that stigma thing.
Yeah.
In the mid '90s, himself and I can't remember the other person. They put together a demo.
Yeah.
And they sat down with record execs. They listened to it. This is fucking awesome. We love this.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm Vito Bratta from White Lion.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna pass.
Yeah. That's crazy shit.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, have you dealt with that? I mean,
a little bit. I was lucky enough to sign another contract with a band in '96 on Interscope. We actually went on the Roar tour with Iggy Pop. We actually did well, and I remember being in the label up in Westwood at the time. And we kind of talked about it a little bit because the guy that worked at the label told me, but I see you were in a band in the 80s called XYZ. How do you feel about it? Is it something you want to advertise? And I told the guy, I said, look, my past is what it is, and I have no problem advertising it. And he was like, well, we do. So they kind of thought that the 80s were a bad idea. And I kind of, on a marketing point of view, maybe I could respect that. It was the time, and I thought, okay, we'll keep it quiet for a bit. So I never really talked about it when we were on the tour with Iggy Pop and nothing. We had meet and greets and stuff like that and interviews. I never really brought it up. But that time is gone,
Right.
The 80s are back. Now I think most people look back to the 80s as a good time.
Right.
Whether you were in Madonna or Van Halen, it was a wonderful time.
Well, and I think the thing that people can say all they fucking want about the over the top, the cheesiness, yada yada, and there was some of that. There was a lot of that, but in the 80s, you guys could play your fucking instruments.
Yeah. We actually had to play. I'm a big fan of technology. I have a home studio. I run, Pro Tools with all kinds of software and plugins. I'm a big fan of using the computer to do your work. Now, back in the day, there was no computer. And when we went in the studio, you had to sit on a chair with your guitar, your bass, or your drums and actually play those fucking parts.
Absolutely.
And if you didn't get it right, you had to do it again and again and again. There was no auto-tune. There was no fixing it. There was no nothing.
I know. Yeah. Think about in the 50s and the 60s when they had one take.
That's right.
They had one take. And a lot of times, one microphone in the room.
I think of the Beatles with the 4-track.
Right.
How did they do it, dude?
They were fucking good. That's
the Stones, the Rolling Stones, with really they had the first 8-track, but even 8-track for a 5-piece, that's crazy.
Right.
I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. Almost no technology to correct a mistake whatsoever. Now, in the 80s, we had some technology. You could cut the tape with a razor blade.
Right.
You could glue it back together. You could hope it would work that way. Back in the 60s or 50s, no way, dude. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, it was one take.
Amazing.
That's why the fucking the Wall of Doom or whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah.
What was the backup band they used for everybody?
I know what you mean. The name escapes me.
But yeah, that's why they had them play on everything because they were that fucking good.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys are on MTV.
Yeah.
The pussy level goes from groupies
from 1 to 10.
From groupies to porn stars and actresses.
Yeah.
Give me some names.
Back in the day, it's funny. The record label wanted us to be associated with some of the hot girls in town. When we got signed, they were like, maybe you guys should be seen around town with really hot girls. And at the time, I was dating a pretty good looking girl. And then so they kind of set us up. This was great, dude.
Right?
The label would set us up with the hot girl. So I had a date with Demi Moore. It didn't go anywhere.
But you actually went on a date with Demi Moore.
We went to the premiere of St. Elmo's Fire.
Get the fuck out of here!
It was awesome.
No fucking way!
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
But zero chemistry between me and Demi. She probably doesn't even remember me. And then the week after, I went out with Susan from the Bengals. She was hot.
I am bowing to Pat Fontaine right now. The intro to my cover show, Under the Covers, starts out with Susannah Hoffs saying, "Hi, I'm Susannah Hoffs, and I just love being under the covers with Izzy Presley."
Well, there you go. I was never lucky enough to be under the cover with her.
Did you just one day? Or did you get to see her?
No, I think we went out twice.
Okay.
The first time the label picked me up with the limo, and I didn't know who the hell she was really, but she was really good looking. This girl, gorgeous. Second time we went out, you know what? She probably doesn't even remember me, but it was kind of good. We had a little bit of chemistry. We went to some bar on Melrose, I think. And then, for some reason, the week later, I was introduced to this porn star, Tori Wells.
Jesus! I was going to say, you're going to say Tori Wells, aren't you? Jesus Christ! You do not know how many loads I have blown to Tori Wells.
Tori Wells.
Night Trips. My God, Night Trips. Before you go on with this story, she's got this movie called Night Trips that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
Sexy fucking movie.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that I worked with. He was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And his wife was fucking ready to burst, pregnant as fuck, but nothing.
Yeah.
So the doctor said, well, get her horned up. I go, check out Night Trips. Within 5 minutes, she was in labor.
Is that a true story?
That's a true story.
You know what? I'm going to call Tori. Her name is not Tori, of course. I'm going to call her tonight and tell her that story. That's a brilliant story, dude. She's going to love it.
Awesome. Actually, tell her to come on this show, then I will tell her
We
story.
should do a show.
Dude, that would be
funny.
fucking great.
Yeah. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday, Tori Wells.
Yeah. Good one. Love it.
Yes. So anyways, so you're on a date with Tori Wells.
So Tori Wells, in fact, it's strange because I had chemistry with her immediately. She was gorgeous. She was fun. She moved in my apartment the next night, I think.
Holy shit.
We lived together for 2 years, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved this girl. I loved her. She was a wonderful person, very funny. We had a substance problem, the two of us. So it's always difficult to merge two different problems.
Right. Same substance?
Yeah, same. We did blow like you would not believe. I was never into speed, but she was. So she went from blow to speed, and I can't follow you there. I'm not a speed type. I loved her to death. She was wonderful. She was a great sense of humor. She had a great detachment from what she had to do for a living.
Right.
And it was kind of very romantic, I must say.
It's funny that you say that, because I had a porn gal on here a few weeks back, Julia Ann.
Yeah.
She's been around since the early 90s. I mean, she's like the model chick for fucking Cougar Life.
Yeah. What year was it, you said?
I think she started in 92, 93.
So a bit later.
I think we had talked about Tori on the show, and that's one of the things she talked about. It's a job.
Yeah.
You know, and I told her, it's like I couldn't do any research.
No.
Because it's my buddy's girlfriend. I tried. I tried, but I couldn't. This is wrong. Now my fantasy football guy, on the other hand, he had no problem. He enjoyed it. So anyways, so you guys, you're living together 2 years.
Yeah.
And the blow and the speed, it's just getting out of
after
control.
a while it kind of became too much, and then we were on the road. I was on the road quite a bit, and she was on the road too. At the time, the girls would do like a circuit. They went from strip joint to strip joint. They had a special night. Tori Wells is in town, so everybody went to the strip joint. They would dance, do a couple, and there was like a huge meet and greet. In fact, I did a bunch of radio shows with her, K-Bear in Salt Lake City, and then I think WAAF in Boston. They put us on the air together. So it was kind of official that she was my girlfriend for a while, and then she was a lot more famous than me. So sure, I would kind of get all kinds of strange questions from the fans after the show. About our love life, so it was kind of interesting.
Was it tough dating a porn star?
Yeah, at first I thought, this is kind of crazy because it sounded so much like a cliche. You're in a rock band, you date a porn star. It sounded so cliche that I thought it was kind of stupid. But I developed strong feelings for her.
Right.
I must say that I loved this girl. She was wonderful. And when she came back home from work, I would insist on a shower and a hot tub first.
Get yourself cleaned out there, Toots.
Yeah. But you know what? Those girls have, even though it was the 80s, they were already pretty safe.
Right.
We always were very careful with that. I went on the set with her a few times just to kind of check it out. It was kind of weird to witness your girlfriend being fucked by another couple of guys. It was kind of strange, but at the same time, it forces you as a man to detach a little bit, and that maybe is healthy. Because we all have this jealousy inside of us, and sometimes it gets the best of us, and not in a pretty way. So it has brought me, if you will, a certain detachment that you cannot control people. You can inflict rules on your loved ones because they will do what they do.
Right.
And to be jealous is maybe a little bit fun or romantic on a very, very small level, but it could become ridiculous and dangerous in the long run. So I look back and think it was a great lesson in relationship, and also a great discovery of things you could do in a bedroom. She was wonderful. She was amazing.
Right. So fucking a porn star was all it was cracked up to be.
It was strange, because often enough it was not even so much the fucking, but more so the romantic part of it, which is just holding one another after she fucked a couple of guys. The fact that she'd come home to me to lay in my bed and in my arms, really, with no requests, was kind of refreshing. It was pretty cool. Of course, she had no problems with me fucking groupies on the tour bus.
I was going to ask you about that.
Fucking awesome.
When you get on the road, I mean, were you an angel? Or
No, we fucked everything that moved, dude. It was awesome. And we had that kind of relationship. We when I went home to Los Angeles, she was in my apartment waiting for me, and we were just the two of us against the world. But when I got back on the tour bus and she got back on her circuit, we kind of did what we had to do.
And it was just kind of like, okay, well, I mean, you do this. This is your job.
Yeah.
And this is kind of my job.
That's kind of. She didn't really look at my job as fucking groupies, I guess.
Well, it's part of the job.
But I kind of told her, I said, look, I'm living this little fantasy life. I remember talking to her about it. I'm living this little fantasy. Every teenage boy in the world wants to be in a band on a tour bus. Fucking groupies.
Absolutely.
I
want to be in a band on a tour bus. Fucking groupies. I'd be happy with one.
Yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm lucky enough to be in that position. I don't know how long it's going to last, and I want to milk it for everything it's worth.
Hey, no pun intended.
Yeah. So I kind of did that. I think she got it. I think she got it.
So the decline happens.
The decline of rock and roll.
The decline of rock and roll happens. You're at dating Susannah Hoffs, dating Demi Moore, dating Tori Wells for 2 years.
Yeah.
Where does the pussy go?
It's funny when Nirvana came about. I remember, in fact, very well. I went to the Rainbow on a Saturday night, and there was this group of people outside the Rainbow, and they were dressed in such a peculiar way that I thought they were ridiculous. And now I see they were way ahead of everybody else. They were dressed in long johns with army boots and flannel shirts. And I thought, who the fuck are those people? Because we had leather jackets and jeans, and we always had a mini skirt wearing girl on our arms.
Right.
There was a bunch of those guys there. They had no girls with them. They were smoking pot with flannel shirts. And I thought, who the fuck are those people? So I actually befriended one of them. And they were like, yeah, we're from Seattle. I was like, really? What the fuck is Seattle? It really started to sink that there was this new wave of fashion and music and attitude.
It was really a movement.
It was a movement. And it came all the way to the Rainbow. on the beach, so to speak, on the like a whale.
Oh, I can't remember who was telling me about it, but there was Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, but Pearl Jam wasn't called Pearl Jam yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they played at the fucking Cathouse.
You're kidding?
No.
What was the name of the band?
I can't remember. Whatever Pearl Jam was called before they were Pearl Jam.
Wow, I'm amazed that those guys would have booked that type of music, but possibly. I think at one point we were.
Well, you got to remember before the grunge thing happened, Alice in Chains was just a fucking rock band.
That's right.
You know?
Man in the Box is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
We heard it on KNAC, and I was like, this is fucking great.
And from what I'm told about Alice in Chains, it's, they were a rock band that looked like you guys, and all of a sudden it changed, and the record company goes, okay, you're going to pierce your nose, and you're going to wear flannel now.
That's right. And then you remember there's a point, because I know you're a Metallica fan, you remember that point where Metallica shaved their heads?
Yeah.
That was a huge moment.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like we were attached to our hair by any means, really, but there was a point where we started to grasp the fact that the page was about to turn, and Metallica shaved their heads. It was all over Hollywood. Everybody talked about it because they're from San Francisco. They're not from here,
right?
So they were not hanging on the strip. They were not a strip band.
Yeah, they hated it here.
Yeah, they were not a Hollywood band. And we were all flipping through the pages of magazines. There was no internet at the time, looking at the picture of those guys with shaved heads, and we couldn't believe it. It's funny to think about it.
Well, you remember even Nirvana took a poke at it.
Yeah, that's right.
During their fucking acoustic thing on MTV with the written on the guitar, friends don't let friends get friends haircuts.
I remember that bit. It was awesome. That's true. But from that moment on, dude, it all went to shit.
It all went to hell. But fucking... We're still alive.
We're still alive. There's
the music's still alive.
Yeah, there's a new wave. There's a new. I think it in fact is the absence of record stores that has forced people into discovering the old music. And perhaps that's it's funny. There's a silver lining to that. I mean, obviously, Tower Records gone, right. Blockbuster, Virgin, everything's. There's no.
See, we're spoiled here in Los Angeles because there are record stores all over the place. It's not like that other places.
No, most cities don't have them.
Right.
When you want a record, you go on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that most people have a hard time buying new music at a record store, they perhaps turn back to their old collection sitting in the attic or in the basement and say, wow, look at that. Hanoi Rocks, Hollywood Rose, Cry Wolf, or whatever it is they gathered from that time,
Right.
And I think that's kind of cool. So we come back up to the surface maybe in some ways. And people discover that back in the day we had to play our instruments.
Right.
We had to sing.
Right.
On key.
Right? What's that? What's singing on key? I'm not familiar with this.
Holy shit.
Oh, man. So, I mean, what's the status of XYZ? Are you guys still
together? We're still together. We took 2015 was a kind of a tough year for us. My guitar player had to go to rehab a couple of times. In fact, we canceled the last Monsters of Rock because of it. So he has a bit of a drinking problem, which is very rock and roll.
Yes.
We don't advertise it, but we're not afraid to acknowledge it. So he's been drinking a little bit too much, and we're trying to get that under control. So we took the year off, and we said, dude, you got to get your shit together. And I think we'll get back to business early next year, probably on the cruise. And then we'll see. We always go to Europe for a couple of months every other year. So maybe Europe, good for us in 2016. We're not really the type of band that does the weekend at the club thing.
Right.
We don't want to be in a minivan traveling through 100-degree weather from Vegas to Phoenix kind of thing.
Right.
Call us assholes, if you will.
Well, you are French.
yeah.
I don't know, boy. The French are assholes.
Yeah.
Are the French assholes?
Yes, indeed.
All right,
we're proud of it.
All right, you're a French guy. What do you think about this fucking armpit hair movement that women are doing?
You know, it's funny because you remember Madonna did that in the 80s. So it's a revival. You know, it's funny because I'm a big fan of this show, Naked and Afraid.
Yes.
I love that show on Discovery. And I always think, well, you know what? They should keep those people in the jungle or in the desert for longer than the 21 days required.
Right.
They should keep them for 6 months, dude.
Right.
And see all that hair growing on everywhere.
And see how their bodies change.
That'd be funny. I'm not. I think I when you flip through the pages of an old porn magazine from the 70s, you could see that we have shaved everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Bush that would knock my Aunt Connie's socks off. They call it 70s porn bush.
That's right. It's pretty funny. But I think we're victims of fashion.
Right.
We all are, and we embrace the new thing. I'm not against the hair thing. I think women grow hair under their arm. And at one point, you got to kind of say, well, fuck. That seems like a lot of work to shave that thing every day.
Yeah,
no?
Boom. It's armpit hair. I mean,
yeah, maybe.
Boom. There
I
you
take
go.
it you're not a big fan then.
I'm not a big fan. No. And especially when the girl's got the hairy legs. That's fucking nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We're kind of so used to seeing all those.
We're so spoiled.
We're so spoiled, dude. But I think if we were to be dumped on an island long enough, I think after a while I'd say, fuck it, I'm growing a beard. Right? And
you would have to.
Yeah. And I think my companion, I'm hoping my companion is female. I think my companion would say, fuck it, I'm not shaving my armpits no more.
Oh, my God. If I was to be gay, like if they made a law or they made it, like illegal not to be or something.
Yeah, that's right. If there was a law.
Yeah, if it was like a law or something, I think it was a Norm Macdonald bit. I think I would want a guy with the short cock and one that came fast.
Yeah. Good point. Very good point.
Dude, this has been a blast.
Yeah, it was great.
Dude, you are welcome to come back at any time.
It's a pleasure.
Anytime you got something to fucking talk about, say, Izzy, I want to come on.
I will. I will call you. I'll bug the fuck out of you.
Absolutely. Dude, thank you so much.
No problem.
XYZ will be back next year.
Yeah.
And fucking everything's going to be fucking moving ahead. All right, guys, this has been a fucking blast. Pat Fontaine, amazing.
See you guys later.
PJ Farley, fucking amazing. And we'll see you everybody next week. Hopefully, pay attention to the Facebook page. I can't give it away yet. Possibly one of the winery dogs in studio here. It's not confirmed, but that would be fucking amazing. Would that not be fucking amazing to have a winery dog in studio?
Oh, man. Oh,
yeah. Winery dogs. Fucking amazing. Make sure you check out the show on Facebook, facebook.com/anothereffing-podcast. Hit me up on the Twitter machine, Izzy_Presley. If you want to support the show monetarily, please do. Izzy.presley@gmail.com is your PayPal. Send me money. Just, something to do. Hey, I want to send Izzy money. Yay! You don't have to, though. I'm always going to keep the show free because I fucking love you guys. StuffDudesLike.com. Make sure you check them out. And, of course, Odd Mechanical. They build shit that shoots fire to music. You want it. Check them out, Facebook, all that good stuff. I will see you next week. This has been an Izzy Presley production. The name of the show is Another Fucking Podcast. My name is Izzy Presley. And yes, people, I do